No DQ Galaxy. We are live with the NoDQ.com live recap of Monday Night Raw for Monday night, April the 11th, 2022 in Detroit, Michigan, Little Caesars Arena. We kicked off Monday Night Raw with a recap of Cody Rhodes making his return to WWE at Wrestlemania and then appearing on Raw, his first Raw appearance in 6 years. That was last week. Then we had The Miz come to the ring for Miz TV. His special guest, of course, Cody Rhodes. Cody got a huge ovation from the fans. They were chanting his name. He got a ton of pyro. Miz was just sitting there looking at his watch. Cody really soaking it in, getting that crowd reaction, enjoying every single moment of it. And then Miz had a funny line to start us off. He said that Cody broke the pyro budget with his 45-minute entrance to the ring. Cody continued to soak in the moment. Miz brought up Dusty Rhodes. There was a Dusty chant. Miz said that he admires Cody for wanting to become the world champion, but says if it wasn't for the family name, Cody would just be a plumber instead of the son of a plumber. Cody, well, the son of a plumber, I should say. Cody responded by saying that The Miz has not changed at all, said that The Miz is still obnoxious, he's a carny, he's good old reliable Mike. And then Cody said, what do you think I've been doing for the past 6 years? Without mentioning AEW, by the way. Cody did bring up the WWE title again, and he called it the WWE belt, which Miz responded to by saying it's a title. A belt holds up your pants. And there was another line later, which I'll get to in a minute, where Cody said that he does respect The Miz. He said that he came back to beat the best wrestlers in the world. And once again, Miz had to correct Cody and say that they are superstars, not wrestlers. And they talked about their match later in the evening. Cody said, may the best man win. Miz attempted to attack Cody, but Cody sidestepped him. Miz was sent out of the ring. Crowd, like I said, really into Cody Rhodes. Nice little opening segment here to set up their match. And we had our first match, which was Dominik Mysterio one-on-one with Veer. Veer came last week, and he came again on this show. This was basically a squash match. I mean, it was pretty much all Veer Mahan getting the best of young Dominik Mysterio. Now, apparently this was supposed to be Rey Mysterio versus Dominik. People in the chat room have been commenting on that. Where the hell was Rey Mysterio? We don't know. Maybe WWE decided to have Dominik go first and then save this match for another day. Anyways, Dominik attempted to do a dive to the outside. Veer caught him and slammed him into the barricade, threw him back in the ring, hit the $1 million clothesline. Dude has the $1 million arm after all. And then he put on the clutch submission move that he does, the cervical clutch. Dominik instantly tapped out. And after the match was over, Veer continued with the submission hold, refusing to break it. Several officials, including Petey Williams, former Impact Wrestling star, the guy that made the Canadian Destroyer famous. Petey Williams and several WWE producers, officials, finally got Veer Mahan off of poor Dominik. No Rey Mysterio. And then afterwards, after Veer left, Rey Mysterio did not show up. Dominik was there. He got a neck brace put around his neck, and he was stretchered out. I guess Rey was on vacation. Not sure why he wasn't on Raw. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, imagine Veer doing a Canadian Destroyer. Maybe Petey Williams will teach him a thing or two. I mean, it seems like everybody knows how to do one at this point. So why not Veer too? And yes, Joey Perez, Petey Williams is working as a producer in WWE now. Him and several other guys, several Impact wrestlers. Chris Abyss is there. He was on SmackDown a few years back and had a great segment with AJ Styles, and they never did anything with him again, unfortunately. We had footage shown from earlier in the day, and AJ Styles had attacked Damian Priest backstage. This set up a match between AJ Styles and Damian Priest. And Psycho Jet Black saying Chris Abyss, yes. Chris Joseph Park, Abyss, whatever his name is. Abyss, former TNA star. So anyways, AJ Styles versus Damian Priest. This was a pretty good match. I was enjoying it. Back and forth. And then all of a sudden, Styles went for the phenomenal forearm, got knocked to the outside of the ring. Priest just raised his hands up in the air. The lights went out, and then the blue lighting came on, purple lighting, whatever it is. And he made this really scary face. And we went to a commercial break. And when we came back, the match was over. That was that. Yeah. This was completely random. Not sure what the hell this was all about. No Edge on this show, by the way. I guess he's back on his part-time schedule. Going to take a little bit of time off. Priest all by himself. And this was odd. Wasn't really a fan of this whatsoever. And AJ Styles backstage afterwards did an interview and was like, what is this BS? Basically, what we're all thinking here. And he said he's not done. He is not done with Damian Priest. Not by a long shot. We had Cody Rhodes versus The Miz to start us off in the second hour. Fun fact here. I did not know this, but apparently The Miz and Cody Rhodes had 6 matches during Cody's first run, and The Miz won every single one of them. 6-0 against Cody Rhodes. At least that's what I was reading on social media. I'm not actually sure if that's true or not, so don't quote me on that one. Anyways, good match here. Seth freaking Rollins showed up, and he was watching the match at ringside. Miz attempted a cheap shot. Did not work. Cody's a veteran. He knows better. Smart babyface. I wonder if Cody got that written into his contract. He gets to be a smart babyface on every occasion because he did not buy into the distraction. He even did some push-ups at one point. Miz did get the upper hand for a while, and that just fired up Cody more. Cody dared Miz to hit him. Miz did put on the figure 4, but Cody was able to escape that. Cody was selling the knee for a bit, but then he was able to regroup. He hit the Cody cutter, and then he hit the crossroads to pick up the 1-2-3 victory over a very game Miz. And Miz is now 0-1 against blonde Cody Rhodes. Maybe that's what he's got to do. He's got to dye Cody's hair dark in order to beat him. And after the match was over, Seth freaking Rollins got in the ring and he wanted his rematch because, as far as he was concerned, Cody was a surprise opponent at WrestleMania, and Seth thinks that Cody had the advantage because of that. He asked, will we get Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins 2? And Cody said yes. So I do agree with a comment here from Walter Cruz. Like, while I'm cool with this match, is it going to be 50-50 booking? Does Seth Rollins beat Cody Rhodes in the second match? Does Seth Rollins lose again? Seth Rollins has been losing left and right. Keep in mind that whole storyline going into WrestleMania. It's an interesting booking decision to go right back to this rematch, but we'll see what happens. And I'm guessing this will happen at WrestleMania Backlash. We had Tommaso Ciampa backstage, who is officially part of the Monday Night Raw roster. His NXT run is now complete. He is on Raw, and he has not changed his name yet. He is still Tommaso Ciampa. He was interrupted by Ezekiel, and then Kevin Owens showed up. He was pissed off that Ezekiel is still lying to everybody, and Ciampa said that it's legit. Ezekiel is Ezekiel. Owens was pissed off and told Ciampa to grow up. By the way, Ciampa had a match with T-Bar on Main Event. Did not actually wrestle on the show, but he did make an appearance on Raw, officially part of the Raw roster. Hamp Connell sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Hamp. Says, I'm sick of Rollins with his Joker wannabe gimmick and Hillary Clinton pantsuits. He needs to be the Monday Night Messiah again. See, I disagree. I like that Rollins has changed up his character. It's something different. And the crowd was singing his song, as Darren pointed out. They were singing Cody's song. They were humming Rollins' song. Like, people like it. I think it's fun. I love the Rollins Joker gimmick. It's a nice change of pace from what he was doing before. And I love the outfits. You know, he's very outlandish with them, but that's what you got to do in the sports entertainment business. Look at Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart had all those colorful outfits. Randy Savage had all the colorful, outlandish outfits. Seth Rollins is just taking a page out of their playbooks, and I like it. I'm all for it. We had Liv Morgan versus Naomi with Sasha Banks. No Rhea Ripley. Apparently, she was in protocol, which I think is a funny way of saying she got COVID. Don't know, but that's what it sounded like to me. Originally, we were supposed to have a tag team match. Could just be that Rhea Ripley came into contact with somebody that had COVID and they're just playing it safe here. It's been a while. I think since Roman Reigns, unless they've done a really good job of hiding it. It's been a while since somebody was advertised for Raw, did not show up at all, and then the announcer said that there was a protocol. But they did say that the tag team title match, which was supposed to take place on this show, will be on next week's show. Mo Camera sent in a $2.79 super chat. Mo Camera was on the No DQ review this past Thursday. Check it out on demand if you missed it. Says, is Rollins a BF? He's touching fans' hands. I think he's just touching hands because he likes to do that. He likes to interact with the audience. But thank you for that, Mo. I appreciate it. Mo money, Mo money. Thank you, Mo. So we had Liv Morgan versus Naomi, which kind of just felt like a filler match. probably was under the circumstances. Oh, babyface. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you meant best friend or boyfriend. I wasn't sure what the hell that was. Babyface. Okay. Um, I I think that's just part of his gimmick. He's crazy. He's like the Joker. So of course he's going to go out there and slap the fans' hands and stuff. He's Seth freaking Rollins. Apparently, I'm the only person that did not know that BF stood for babyface. Everybody else knew but me. Match with Liv Morgan and Naomi. Pretty basic TV match. Naomi avoided the oblivion. She caught Liv Morgan going for a Hurricane Rana, hit a power bomb. Liv kicked out of that, but then after a couple of near falls were traded, Naomi got the better of Liv Morgan. Oh well, so much for Liv Morgan beating Sasha. Really feels like that was pointless at this junction. But hey, if Rhea Ripley had to pull from the show, they decided to come up with this match, and well, whatever. We had Lashley interrupting the VIP lounge, which was supposed to be with Omos. Lashley just stormed to the ring, got on the mic, and said that he was stabbed in the back at WrestleMania, or not WrestleMania, Raw, by the one guy he thought he could trust. And he called out MVP's punk ass to explain himself. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, would Liv Morgan win more matches if she was a heel? Probably not. If she was a heel, she would likely be in the role of Selena Vega, where she's losing every other match or more than that. But thank you for that. MVP and Omos showed up. Omos dressed up. MVP said Omos is a businessman and will deal with Lashley when the time is right, i.e. WrestleMania Backlash. MVP said to put some respect on his name. MVP said that the reason he turned against Lashley, he doesn't owe anybody an explanation. No, I'm kidding. He actually did have an explanation, which is pretty much what we all assumed anyways, but he went into a little bit more detail. He said that when he came back to WWE, Lashley was floundering with some wannabe TikTok star. Ouch. Poor Lana. MVP said Lashley was unable to become the WWE champion until he resurrected the career of Lashley. And then Lashley felt that he was able to go off on his own. Did not want to share the spotlight at WrestleMania with MVP. MVP was pissed. He said he made Lashley. And he took Lashley and made Lashley almighty. Lashley responded by saying that MVP was just coming back to WWE for his farewell tour. And MVP just attached himself to a new meal ticket to stay relevant. MVP responded by saying that is all the past. It's all about the future now. Omos is bigger, meaner, and tougher than Lashley, and smart enough to realize that he needs MVP, and said that Lashley barely survived the first match and will not survive the next match. And Lashley finished off the promo by saying he will chop Omos's ass down, and then he will be coming after MVP. He then destroyed the VIP set, threw out the couches to the outside, almost hitting a fan in the process. It was a little scary. I think he came a little bit too close with the objects he was throwing out of the ring. Front row almost got a little bit more than they bargained for. Good segment here. I liked it. I liked MVP's fire with his promo, talking about the history between them, and even Lashley was pretty good on the mic. So this was good. Not sure I really want to see Omos versus Bobby Lashley again, but I did like the back and forth between the two of them. We had R-Truth, Tozawa, and Reggie at the Players Club. They were having, I guess, a bachelor party, and Dana Brooke and Tamina were having this bachelorette party. Remember, they're all getting married. Tamina, Tozawa, and then Dana Brooke and Reggie. And R-Truth was mad at Reggie because he was thinking that there were going to be shenanigans and they needed to go over there and crash the party. And we'll unfortunately get to that here in just a few moments. Austin Theory was backstage with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, and he said that Vince thinks that he should just be known now simply as Theory. I guess no more Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin stunned the Austin out of Austin Theory, apparently. And then Theory left. Owens showed up, said he wants some information on Ezekiel, like a birth certificate or driver's license or something. And Adam Pearce said that's confidential information. So Owens said, how about a lie detector test on next week? Sonya Deville approved and said that they would pay for it. So for the time being, Kevin Owens was satisfied. And then Bianca Belair was brought up, and Sonya Deville revealed that she has a challenger set for Bianca Belair, her first title defense. And as soon as Sonya said this, I'm like, well, it's going to be Sonya. She's going to reveal that it's her. We then had Bianca Belair versus Queen Zelina. And this was basically a squash match. You could say that Bianca Belair cleaned the mat with Zelina Vega, did some squats while holding up Zelina, and then finished her off with the KOD. I hope Zelina is not one of the ones cut coming up in a couple weeks. I mean, maybe nobody gets cut, but April 15th, 2 years in a row, people were cut. We'll see. But yeah, this was about as much of a squash match as there could possibly be. Afterwards, Sonya Deville did show up, congratulated Bianca Belair on her WrestleMania win, and said that there are a lot of worthy challengers. Sonya mentioned Alexa Bliss, who just got married. Congratulations to her. And wanted to know if Bianca would agree to sign an open contract. Bianca said she's a fighting champion, so she did it. Then we had the drum roll to reveal the opponent, and sure enough, it was Sonya Deville, the power abuse. She attacked Bianca from behind, held up the championship. Adam Pearce ran into the ring. Basically, WTF from Pearce. Very upset that Sonya would abuse her power. So yes, Sonya Deville will be the first challenger for Bianca Belair. No Bayley, no Asuka. Not sure what's up with them, why they haven't returned yet, but yeah. I mean, I'm happy that Sonya Deville is doing a match, but I do agree with the Super Chat comments. It feels like the abuse of power thing has just been overdone here, and nobody ever steps in. Like, nobody says that there's a problem with Sonya Deville. She can just basically do whatever the hell she wants. And Sonya even told Pearce backstage that she is going to shock the world. And there's nothing Pearce can do to stop her. Hopefully she doesn't trip on her way to the ring, if you got that reference. We had RK Bro versus the Alpha Academy tag team match. Oh, by the way, I forgot to talk about the 24/7 stuff, so let me do that real quick and get it out of the way. Dana Brooke and Tamina were celebrating. Tamina said after the honeymoon, it's open season for the 24/7 title. But then Los Lotharios, who were on SmackDown, they were there. They wanted to do a kiss camera segment. Nikki Ash was there. She tried to steal the title, and she got thrown onto the bar by Tamina. R-Truth then showed up to break up the fight, said everybody should be ashamed of themselves. Truth revealed that he is an ordained minister, and he will officiate the dual wedding on next week's Monday Night Raw. So we got a lie detector test and a dual wedding with the 24/7 people on next week's show. Going to be a very sports entertainment heavy show next week. Fizzy Fuzz sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, I'm so sick of non-title matches even being booked. I agree with you, man. I'm all for squash matches. I like what they did with Gunther, Walter on last week's show. I think they should do more of those. But maybe use more local people and don't sacrifice your talent that you've been featuring every single week. I mean, Dominik, maybe this is all part of a bigger storyline with Ray. Dominik can say, where the hell were you, Ray? You were supposed to face Veer on Monday Night Raw. I suppose there's a storyline reason for that, but not exactly getting my hopes up. So we had RK Bro versus Alpha Academy, and Chad Gable did his pre-match promo, insulted the city of Detroit, said that they are dumber than last time he was there, and he said that WrestleMania was full of distractions. Gable Steveson tried to steal a spotlight, and he said that Gable Steveson might have an Olympic gold medal, but Chad Gable has a gold freaking brain. And then we had our match. By the way, when is Chad Gable going to be forced to have a name change? Like, once Gable Steveson is on Raw, can you really have two Gables? What will his new name be? Chad? Will it be Master Chad? Maybe Alpha Chad? Will he go back to Shorty G? Just wondering about that. Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat. Says the 24-hour title is shown more love than the US and IC title. It ain't even the 24/7 title because they suspend it. It should be 24/7 nonstop, but it's not actually nonstop. They do pause it at times, which, I mean, I'm over the whole concept anyways, as you know. So we had RK Bro versus Alpha Academy. Pretty standard match, the usual. Good match, but standard. Matt Riddle getting beat up for a while. Orton gets the hot tag, and Orton hits the RKO to Gable. Riddle stops Otis from breaking up the pin. RK Bro wins. Not much to say about it. Then the Usos arrived. Now, if you remember from SmackDown, the Usos were ordered by Roman Reigns to go to Raw and get the Raw Tag Team titles and unify the titles. So you had the Usos, after the commercial break, show up to the ring, and they challenged RK Bro to a unification match. And then we had the Street Profits arrive. By the way, Randy Orton had a funny line here saying that the big dog let his bitches off their leash. Good one, Randy. So Street Profits arrived. They were not happy that Alpha Academy got added to the match at WrestleMania. They were supposed to have the 2-on-2 match. And they said that they are next in line. And Jay said there's no line when there's simply the bloodline. And Ford said the unification match can happen once they beat RKO. Randy Orton was tired of this back and forth, so he pitched the Usos versus the Street Profits for the Raw main event. Both teams accepted, and then we had our main event match. Street Profits versus the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Chad Gable becomes Chad Bagel. don't give WWE ideas. Like they might just run with that if they saw your comment, and I'm serious too. Hemp Connor with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Hemp. Says, I'm not even sure Chad will survive spring cleanup along with Otis, Zelina, and Ezekiel. Oh, no way they cut Gable and Otis. Like, there might not be any plans for those guys, but Gable's doing some great work here, like the best work of his career. Otis has been doing well as well. Like, I like the team a lot. There's no way those guys get cut. Ezekiel, like they're going all in with this angle right now with Kevin Owens and Ezekiel. He's fine. Zelina, though, if there's a spring cleaning next week, yeah, I would be concerned if I was Zelina Vega. Carmella's safe, obviously, with the marriage to Corey Graves. You would think that at least. Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Says, I wonder if unifying the titles will lead to RK browser breakup. I actually hope not. I would use the Money in the Bank pay-per-view and make undisputed tag team ladder match. I don't know if they're going to break up right away, but obviously that's a future direction if WWE wants to take Riddle to the next level. And I think they're going to do it at WrestleMania Backlash. And yeah, I'm curious to see what happens here if WWE actually goes through with unifying the titles. Calvin thinks Jerry Lawler did a good job. I disagree, Calvin. I thought Lawler was pretty bland. I would have preferred just the two-man commentary team, quite frankly, or even bring in Pat McAfee from SmackDown on Raw. That would have been way better, actually. Yeah, Lawler has no business being on national television at this point. So anyways, main event was really solid. Really good tag team match here to close out the show. And they did the usual shtick where Jay threw Angelo Dawkins onto RK Bro. And then Ford came over the top with a dive onto the Usos. After the break, Dawkins was worked over for a while. Ford got the hot tag. Him and Dawkins did the double team blockbuster where Ford comes off the top and Dawkins has the guy up on his shoulders. But there was a kick out. And then Ford hit the frog splash to Jay. Jimmy was able to make the save. Crowd started chanting, "This is awesome." And finally, the Usos regrouped. They hit the 1D, scored the pinfall victory over Montez Ford. And then afterwards, the two teams got in the ring, faced off, held up the titles. Crowd was chanting RK Bro. And then the Usos left. However, Dawkins came in for a cheap shot on Riddle. Both of them went to the outside of the ring. Ford tried to attack Orton. He got hit with an RKO, but then the Usos got back in the ring, hit dueling super kicks to Randy, and then they picked up all of the championships. And yeah, the Usos, they got all the titles. Now, are they going to steal the titles and end up on SmackDown with the titles? Because Reigns did want them to bring the titles to SmackDown. So we'll see if they're going to do that angle or not. But yeah, it does look like we will be getting that unification match coming up at WrestleMania Backlash. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, I can see WWE keeping Mustafa Ali out of spite. They might, but at the same time, maybe they will cut him loose when they do the spring cleaning. Like, I think it's really petty to keep him there if they don't want him there. Hamp Connor with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Hamp. I appreciate it. Says, I give Raw a C for confusing. There was 3 or 4 things they advertised and didn't deliver on. I guess it's after Mania and the shows will suck until SummerSlam. Well, as far as the Rhea Ripley deal goes, they said it was COVID. Well, they didn't say COVID. They just said a protocol. And not sure what the deal is with Rey Mysterio. That could just be they want to set up an angle. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. Show was all right. Probably a C+, slightly above average. Cody Rhodes was probably the highlight. Main event was good. Crowd was into Cody and Seth Rollins. And yeah, they love Randy Orton. They set up a few things for WrestleMania Backlash. It was a decent Raw, but not something you necessarily need to go out of your way to watch. I would give it a somewhat recommend. Walter Cruz with a $2 super chat says, Ford's Frog Splash is too pretty. Love Eddie, but wow. It's pretty amazing. He definitely has a great frog splash, and it's different too. You know, with that move, so many people do it, and it's hard to make it unique. RVD had a really unique one, and I think Ford has made it his own. Like the way he does it, it's different from everybody else's. So props to him. Anyways, guys, that's it for Raw tonight. I hope you enjoyed the recap. If you did, please give this video a like on YouTube. Consider subscribing if you're watching elsewhere. YouTube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the latest wrestling news and rumors. Enjoy your week. Have a great one. Stay positive, my friends. And I will see you all next time. And don't forget to say yes to NoDQ